Good evening. It's now 6 o'clock, so we'll call the Planning Commission meeting of Monday, January 26th to order. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Ellsworth. Here. Commissioner Bonney.
Here.
Commissioner Barnes.
Here.
Commissioner Hawley.
Here.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Here.
Alderman Parrish.
Here.
Mayor Nurbin.
Here.
Commissioners Stoker and Chorn are absent.
Before we get to the minutes, I do have one announcement. Item 4A on the agenda for Victory Homes has been canceled, but it got canceled after the notice went out, so we can't uncancel it officially, but we will not be taking it up tonight. That brings us to approval of the minutes from December. Is there a motion to approve or any comments or corrections?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Guess I should ask now if there's any comments or corrections. Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Next, we have 4 items on the consent agenda. Is there a motion to consider those items or to remove any of them for discussion?
Move approval. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda carries. On to regular business. Again, we are skipping item 4A as that's been canceled at the last minute, which brings us to 4B, Sign Effects Incorporated for Stern Real Estate LLC. Applicant is seeking a master sign plan approval for a multi-tenant building located at 1000 West Donges Bay Road.
Yeah, this request is for master sign plan approval. It's for the property located at 1000 West Donges Bay Road. The building is multi-tenant and it's zoned B5. The master sign plan is proposing 8 total signs, which includes 7 wall signs, 1 for each existing and each potential tenant space, and then also 1 to account for an existing monument sign on the site that's near the street frontage. This monument sign was approved with a sign permit through the city in 2006. There's no changes proposed for the monument sign aside from tenant panel replacements. There's also an existing wall sign on the south elevation of the building. This would correspond to tenant sign number 3. And the wall sign is for Norscott Group, which is an existing tenant. This is included in the 7 wall signs shown in the plan. And this wall sign was also approved by the city with the sign permit in 2005. And staff is supportive of both the monument sign and the existing wall sign remaining as part of the master sign plan. The signs seen in the plan are located on multiple building elevations. Some of them correspond to parking areas or drive aisles, and then there are others that are situated on more secondary or service-oriented entrances. Specifically, 3 of the signs, being sign 5, 6, and 7, are facing I-43. The property is zoned B5, as I said, and B5 falls outside of the I-43 signage requirements in terms of zoning districts. With this in mind, and considering that the proposed sign locations are more secondary, they're not front-facing, staff finds it unnecessary that these signs maintain the same size and the same visual hierarchy as signs 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are facing the street and also facing the front of the building. Staff did request that a clarification of the existing tenants' delineated tenant suites be provided for analysis purposes to better understand kind of what the existing suite spaces are on the site, but this wasn't received in time of finalizing the staff report, so we've analyzed per the materials we already had on hand. Previously, master sign plans have typically kept to allowing for sign locations only for existing tenant spaces rather than allowing for future potential tenant build-out spaces to have signs. If you'll remember back in October of this past year, that was a similar requirement for the Corporate Parkway Master Sign Plan that was approved. So with that in mind, staff is not supportive of signs 5, 6, and 7 that are facing I-43. In lieu of larger wall signs there, we would allow for door decals for clarification purposes, delivery purposes for people going in and out of the building from that side. And if there's future tenant build-outs, similar to how we've allowed it in the past, wall signage in these areas could be approved through an amendment to the master sign plan and through a text amendment to that I-43 sign code that's in the City of Mequon code. Staff is also recommending, can you go to page 94? For sign locations 1 and 2, staff is recommending that they be stacked on top of one another as opposed to located on either side of the door. It's a shared entry, and staff finds that this would read more cohesively and reduce visual clutter and kind of emphasize that that's a shared entry point. We're also recommending that tenant sign location 4 be raised to kind of be in line with that door entry element. That's consistent with that existing Northscott wall sign location and consistent with where the tenant 1 and 2 wall signs kind of start on the wall there. In addition to the location layouts, there's also some general standards that the master sign plan proposes. I want to note that the staff report incorrectly states that the maximum letter height is 20 inches. That should be 30 inches, which is what the applicant is requesting, and staff is supportive of that. So with that in mind, that also nulls the note in the staff report that the Northscott wall sign would be non-conforming with the current plan. So it is within the requirements that the applicant has laid out. So the maximum height there for the letters would be 30 inches, and the Northscott wall sign that's existing fits within that requirement. It also fits within the 30 square foot per sign requirement that the applicant is laying out. Corporate branding, logos, and colors are to be permitted, which is typical, and logos should be included within that 30 square feet maximum allowable sign area. There's also a note in the staff report about raceways matching the color of the building and being limited to 5 inches in height. I want to note that the applicant is requesting stud-mounted wall signs rather than channel letters. So that would only be applicable if they decide to move forward with channel letters. Staff's okay with channel letters or stud-mounted wall signs. So with that in mind, staff is supportive of the master sign plan with all of the conditions stated. Just for clarification purposes, we are striking condition number 7, which is regarding that Northscott wall sign being non-conforming. And condition 6 should be edited so that it's a maximum of 30 inches for the letter height to be allowed here. And with that in mind, staff is recommending approval of the master sign plan.
I was going to ask, is there anyone here representing the applicant for this item? If there is, you can come up and take a seat. If there's not, we can move on and ask if there's any questions from the commission. Commissioner Parrish.
For the signs you removed, like 4, 5, 6, 7, will there be any identification then for those tenants? Or are you just saying they can do decals?
Yeah, we recommended that they do decals there. If you'll see, I think it's the page
like
above or below
will
here.
their guests and deliveries and everyone know like where to go for those tenants?
Yeah, we appreciate their
Hard turnaround back there, so you
Yeah.
want everyone that doesn't need to go back there not to go back there.
right. It's from what I can tell and from what my understanding is of the building from previous floor plans that we pulled. This doesn't seem like an area intended for customers to be going in and out of. So to have a 30 square foot sign there seems a little unnecessary, which is kind of why we appreciate that there's some identification needed for employees or, people coming and going to make deliveries. But that larger 30 square feet that's going to be allowed on the front of the building is likely not as necessary.
So if they ask for a smaller sign, would you say yes, or is it only decals?
I guess it'd be helpful if the applicant was here to speak to that. We kind of proceeded with the decals as a middle ground and haven't heard otherwise.
They can always come back and amend the master sign plan too. If there's more info available on who the tenants might be, I think right now all we know is it sounds like subdivided warehouse space.
Yeah, we asked for a new floor plan that kind of showed how many current tenant spaces actually exist. Again, like I said, that wasn't received in time, and we went off an existing floor plan that we had from previous years, which kind of looks like that whole back area is one larger warehouse space. obviously there's potential that that might be separated out in the future, but that can be approved, on an as-by basis if and when there's future lease interest in those areas. And considering it's somewhat unique facing I-43 and B5 is outside of that I-43 sign code, it'd likely mean more of an approval process for them to get larger signage there anyways.
Yeah, thank you. Good job with the write-up, and just let them know that, we would maybe reconsider a different modified, more reasonable sign plan,
Yeah.
so.
Any other questions from any of the commissioners? For a motion? This isn't our applicant, is it?
Don't think so.
You with the sign company?
Oh, okay, you almost missed your
You're
window.
just in time.
You can have a seat, yeah.
Oh,
No,
we're
no,
gonna
no,
sit
no,
up here.
no, over here. Not back there, yeah. You get a special seat. You missed all the debate. 'Cause the meeting got a little shorter than anticipated because the item right ahead of you got canceled, so
Oh, okay.
we were like seconds away from putting it to a vote, but I'll bring you up to where we're at. It's everything that's in the report except staff realized there is an error in condition 6 with the height of the lettering, so that can be corrected to 30 inches, and it also negates the need for condition 7 that states the sign is non-conforming because it actually is conforming.
Awesome.
Everything else is as you read it, and we've already opened it up for questions at the commission here, but if you'd like to talk about, well, I guess there's an opportunity to ask questions now that we didn't have a couple minutes ago. If you'd like to discuss or have any counterpoint to what's in the staff report, now would be a good time to get it out.
Yeah, so one question I had was referring to the signs 5 through 7. I saw that there was issues because of it facing I-43, and it also noted that it was going to be a secondary service entrance in your notes. I just want to clarify, those are primary entrances for each tenant. So I don't know if that changes anything. I did see that you guys were going to allow door vinyl for each of those entrances, but there were concerns because obviously semis are going to be going back there and they need to find the correct dock that they're going to be unloading at. So there were concerns that they're going to be having a hard time finding their way and it might cause traffic concerns back there.
Yeah, I can speak to the I-43 part of the code. Specifically, B5 is one of the zoning districts that does not allow for I-43 facing signage in our sign code. So that's kind of that portion of the analysis. And in terms of the note about it being secondary or service-oriented entrances, I guess that was more so signaling that they're not primary facing entrances. They're not front facing necessarily, less likelihood of there being customer in and out, which kind of changes the need for that level of identification. And then it was also based on the fact that our understanding per the materials we had was that that space that signs 5, 6, and 7 correspond to is not necessarily currently separate delineated tenant spaces, that it's potentially right now just one tenant space and hasn't been separated out yet. So we didn't see the need to create sign locations unless there are 3 existing tenants there.
Sure. One clarification, it's actually delineated into 2 spaces currently, but there is plans to create a 3rd space back there as well. I saw that one of your requirements is that we modify our master sign plan within 180 days of your decision. So I was wondering if they had plans potentially to break out that space in that time. Would it be possible to get a ruling that would allow for 7 signs?
I think we just heard from staff that they requested info on the tenants and didn't receive it in time to prepare it for the report. So if there's any additional info, we could talk about that here. But I think there's still the issue that our code doesn't allow for signs on B5 along I-43, which would require a text amendment.
Okay.
And I think we'd be willing to take that up and entertain it, and debate the merits of it, but it's currently not allowed in the B5 zoning district,
Okay.
mostly because we probably forgot that there was a piece of B5 on I-43. Most of it's in the
Yeah.
business park.
I did include a map within the docket or the packet materials that shows where the B5 zoned areas in the city are located. This is one of, I think it's the only B5 zoned property that's along I-43, so it's somewhat a unique case. But again, the code currently doesn't allow for signage within those zoning districts, which is where this property falls under.
So I think what staff is recommending is proceeding with signs 1 and 4 with the conditions noted. And if there's more information available on the configuration of the tenant spaces in back, we can always amend the master sign plan. You can amend it at any time. And if that's going to turn into tenant spaces, I think they're recommending you would essentially sponsor a text amendment, and that would go through Planning Commission and Council for consideration to allow for signs on I-43
Correct.
for the B5 district, of which there's only one parcel, and you happen to be it. So I think that's essentially what's in the staff report tonight. We would allow everything else that's on site to get going while that gets worked out. Just for clarification, you have 2 existing tenants, or it's just
It's
broken
yes,
up into
2
two
existing
tenant
tenants.
spaces?
Yep.
But
Oh, we got 30.
you have 2 existing tenants, or there's just 2 tenant spaces?
There's a third tenant now, apparently. They're all existing tenants. There's currently 5 tenant spaces that's broken into. There's plans to break it into 7.
I'm referring to just the portion in back for the signs 5, 6, and 7. Are there any existing tenants there?
Yes, at the present time, there
And-
is a tenant located at the space identified as sign location 7. That tenant currently is not, has no signage there.
So the one to the,
Yeah, I did ask for
The far north end of the warehouse.
my conversation with the sign contractor when I was asking who currently exists at the site was Norscott, who has the existing wall sign up, and Inspire Showroom, which is a new business going in there that we approved a business occupancy form for not too long ago. I believe they're currently in the space. So those are the only 2 existing tenants that we were made aware of prior to the meeting.
well, it sounds like there's more going on than we were made aware of, but it's hard to
The tenant.
internalize all that on the fly at the meeting.
Oh, okay. The tenant at location 7, I guess, is not asking for signage quite yet at this time, she says.
Okay, I think that's consistent with staff's recommendations. So I think, well, we'll see what the commission does here in a second, but if they vote in favor of staff's recommendations, we need to come back and sponsor the text amendment. It would basically open up the possibility to come back and amend your sign plan later, which we'd be happy to do. Commissioner Schaefer.
Well, or as per staff's suggestion, if it's sufficient, I know it's not our business necessarily. I'm a little confused about how you have 7, like, that these are independent of the front of the house businesses, and these are people just using the loading docks and the warehouse space. But that's not my business, that's yours. So regardless, staff had suggested possibility, if it's truly just wayfinding for trucks that are coming in and out, which is really what that space appears to be, you could have decals, and then you don't have to come back for a text amendment. That's allowed. You can choose to do that if the true intent is to allow people to know where to go. That should suffice.
I think their concern is you can't put the decals on the brick. You have to put them on the doors, and there might be trucks blocking the doors.
Yeah.
would it be possible to put like an aluminum panel on the building and then just do a vinyl graphic over it so there's a flat surface to lay the graphic on so we have a larger area rather than a full constructed sign?
I feel
think-
like that is still a sign.
Yeah, per our definition, even a backing panel would still be considered a sign and still fall in that category of wall signage that's currently not allowed per the I-43 code.
I think it still pushes us back to the text amendment. Any other questions? Commissioner Parrish?
I just wanted to suggest, I don't know that you need the text amendment. Why don't you do like a wayfinding sign at the driveway, kind of right where tenant sign 4 is, that basically notifies anyone that's about to go back there that it's only for like tenants 5, 6, 7. So we'll have like 3 slots on the sign. We'll have arrows saying like only go back here for this tenant. You know, just so it's less confusing internally, more for like truck traffic.
Okay.
So it sounds like either way we should approve what we just talked about, and then you should consider coming back to work some more on this.
Okay.
So I can make a motion unless there's further discussion.
I think once trucks get back to it, they'll still want to know where to go, but
Well, they have numbers on the docks, so the companies will tell the delivery people which dock numbers to go to, and they can put sweet decals on the man doors. That's no problem. That's what staff said you could do. So go ahead and do that. And then you'll come back with maybe focus on wayfinding so that traffic guests are not more confused and you have less traffic back there.
Sure. Makes sense.
any more questions, or is there a motion? And I think you're asking for a formal amendment to items 6 and 7.
Correct.
Okay. Anyone need to be reminded what those are? And item in condition 6, the 20 inches should be amended to 30 inches because of the typo, and then condition 7 can just go away. So if anyone wants to make that motion, be happy to entertain it.
I can. I would move approval with editing number 6 to say 30 inches and scratching number 7.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Second from Commissioner Barnes. Any other questions or debate? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hawley.
Aye.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Aye.
Commissioner Ellsworth. Commissioner Urbani.
Aye.
Commissioner Barnes.
Aye.
Alderman Parrish.
Aye.
Mayor Nurbin.
Aye.
Vote passes.
Brings us to announcements. Next meeting is Monday, February 23rd, 6 p.m., same spot. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
And in a second, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.